All right. G'day folks, Coach Neil here again, and I won't do a specific topic today. What I'm going to do is a Q&A. All right, so I'm going to wait for some people to jump on, and then pretty much any health-related questions around the coronavirus and how you can naturally defend against it, how you can ensure you've got a strong immune system if you do unfortunately become infected, and then if you do become infected, how you can treat it naturally for mild to moderate cases, so at home. Okay, Tracy. Treat yourself naturally at home for mild to moderate cases, just with everyday foods, herbs, spices, etc. you can find in your local supermarket, if there's still any stuff there. If not, you might have to go hunting, maybe an ethnic supermarket or something like that. All right, but pretty much everything you need to beat this thing is at your disposal. All right. The 20% or so that are going to end up in hospital who are in the severe category, there's nothing they can do at that stage other than be supported in hospital via supportive treatment. Okay, there are no medications that cure this or that heal this. Okay, the only thing that happens when you end up in hospital in severe and critical is you get supportive care. All right, so they keep you alive whilst your body's immune system tries to fight it. All right, if you end up being intubated in ICU, they will provide oxygen to you at the exact flow rate that is required so that you can actually utilize and absorb that oxygen. And literally they paralyze you and intubate you, and they control your breathing. All right, but that's what happens in ICU. In severe cases, you'll be in hospital. You'll be tended to for your fever, for complications such as an additional bacterial infection, which often happens in late stage pneumonia. Okay, so at the end of the day, if you end up in hospital in severe or critical, you're not going to get any medication to heal this virus. You're going to get supportive care whilst you heal yourself over time. All right. Ideally, you don't want to end up in that situation. You want to be, you want to defend yourself against severe and critical illness. All right. So in this case, what happens in severe and critical is you get ARDS, ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, or viral pneumonia is just the other term for pneumonia other than ARDS. ARDS is pretty much nearly always fatal, unfortunately, because that's how bad ARDS is. Okay, so that's the difference between ARDS and viral pneumonia. Viral pneumonia is not always fatal, whereas ARDS nearly is. Okay, so anyway, bottom line is we're going to do a Q&A here now about all things health related. Any specific questions you have, what you can do yourself to defend and prevent or protect against this, and also how you can apply it to your family, people close to you, people you love. All right, I'm not going to talk about the stuff everybody knows, like how to fucking socially isolate and how to not spread it and stuff like that. All right, so on that note, anybody's got questions, now's the time to pop them below. I've got a few people on here now, so thanks for watching, folks. And any questions, pop them below now, and I'll get started. I've got nine people on here, so if you guys have got any questions, okay, cool. Joshua, vitamin C, okay, cool. Right, we'll get going. How will fasting help? Okay, yes, it will help, and no, I haven't mentioned it at all in any of my videos up until this point, and that's for a reason. Okay, people that do not have any experience with fasting cannot just fast. All right, so if you've got a whole bunch of unhealthy people at home, and I say fasting is beneficial, and they try and fast, they will actually make themselves toxic in the process by releasing toxins from the fat cells into the bloodstream, and they will make themselves sick. All right, so then they'll think they've got a cold or a flu or a coronavirus. All right, so fasting is absolutely beneficial for anyone who has already had experience with short-term fasting. Short-term is intermittent. Well, short-term, g'day Trace, thank you. Short-term is intermittent fasting, so you're 16/8 per day. All right, so if you've been doing intermittent fasting, you could then increase that to a 24-hour fast. And you could then increase that to a 36 to 40 hour fast. And by fast, I'm talking water only, all right? But only if you've had experience with fasting. If you've never fasted before, please don't just go and fast for 24 to 36 to 40 hours because you will become toxic. Your blood will become toxic and you will get cold and flu-like symptoms, all right? So the way fasting helps, if you do have experience with it, is your body goes into a process whereby it literally switches off your digestion because you're not eating food, obviously, and it turns up your immune response. Okay, so basically your immune army, which generally resides in your gastrointestinal tract, up to 70 to 80% of your immune cells are in your GI tract. When you're not eating, they will literally leave the immune system, and leave the GI tract, and they'll go to other areas in the body to heal anything that needs healing. All right. So if you're not eating, if you are fasting, you have 100% of your immune system available to fight threats such as viruses, bacteria, pathogens, cysts, tumors, etc., etc. So if you fast, when you've had previous experience fasting, when you fast for 24 to 36 to 40 hours, you're going to get a substantial amount of time whereby 100% of your immune system is fighting infection or bacteria or whatever. All right, so absolutely fasting helps. Hello, Brunella. But like I said, please, please, please do not fast if you've never fasted before, okay? Because it'll have a negative effect, all right? If you want to fast and you've never fasted before, you start with intermittent fasting, which is 16 hours of no food. So you're basically having like one meal a day, probably, a couple of snacks, and then you've got 16 hours where you're not eating, and that gives you a good start to fasting, all right? So please, please, only fast if you've ever done 16 to 8 before. Then you can move up to 24 to 36 to 40 and beyond, but going beyond 40 hours is next level, and you need to make sure you've got a nutritional bank before you do that, meaning your body is full of nutrients. All right, so that's fasting. G'day, Sarah. Vitamin C, I believe Laura said before. Vitamin C, mate, yes, it's fantastic, but vitamin C is one vitamin out of 16. Okay. So I'm not a fan of mononutrients, even though there's a ton of studies on vitamin C and its benefits, I still don't believe in just putting in a vitamin C into a shitty, toxic body and expecting it to boost your immune system by some miraculous, set of events. It doesn't work that way, okay? At the end of the day, like I keep posting, like I keep showing you, food, whole food, natural food, fruits and vegetables, etc., they contain the vitamins, so micronutrients, so the vitamins and minerals that we need, but they also contain the food cofactors, they call them, and these things all work synergistically to boost your health on every level, all right? If you take an artificial or what's the word I'm looking for, like a chemical vitamin C, particularly ascorbic acid, all right, it's shit, okay, and it doesn't come with the cofactors, all right? So yes, it's beneficial, but still, I still go back to real food. Just eat citrus, grapefruit, oranges, mandarins, kiwi fruit, pineapple. I mean, that's not all citrus, but there's all vitamin C. You know what I mean? So if you do want to take a vitamin C supplement, then you would take ester C or liposomal vitamin C. The most studies that have done on vitamin C and its effectiveness come from intravenous vitamin C. So it's literally transfused. It's not orally. Okay? So I'm not a fan of mononutrients. Like I said, I don't believe in just taking vitamin C. The only one that you do and can dose up on is vitamin D, all right, which I get from the sun, but you would probably have to get from a supplement in a cold climate where you haven't seen the sun for 3 months. As you're getting back to vitamin C, if you want to take vitamin C, I would take a whole food organic multivitamin, which has the broad spectrum of vitamins. Okay, I wouldn't, and like I said, I would not just throw vitamin C into a dirty body and expect it to boost your immune system. It doesn't work that way. All right, I'll scroll back here, see what else we've got. Okay, I need some more questions, so if you just pop a question below, and I'll get to that in a second. I'm just going to look at some numbers here whilst I'm waiting. Okay, g'day Naveed, how are you, buddy? Cool, Josh, you're welcome, mate. Just pop some questions below, folks. If you've got a question, anything health related, about how you can protect yourself, defend yourself, boost your immune system, just pop it below now and I'll answer it. Any health concerns at all you've got around this virus? Any questions, just let me know and I'll answer the questions. Staying at home, yeah, as we all are, Naveed, and so we should. All right. Okay, so whilst I'm waiting for some, how long time of day is good? Oh, okay. So how much sun is good to get the vitamin D that you need on a daily basis? So 20 minutes a day is enough, Brunella. And yeah, I mean, ideally with as much skin as exposed as possible. So, if you can wear a bathing suit, wear a bathing suit. If if you can't, then shorts and a tank top or shorts and a t-shirt. So you've got as much skin exposed to the natural sunlight as possible. And 20 minutes is sufficient because vitamin D is produced in the body after your sun exposure, okay? But it's also a fat-soluble vitamin, so depending on how much we produce, we will store it in the fat cells and bank it for use, okay? So you don't necessarily need 20 minutes every day. You don't need, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you don't need to be anal about it like I am, but the more vitamin D exposure you can get from the sun, the better. If you can't get sunlight, then you would want to take a vitamin D supplement, okay? And if you're going to take a vitamin D supplement, you would want like 1,000 IU per day, which is the general dose for which I can say that for the general population because that's shown to be safe and effective. It's not too much, it's not too little. If you've got a very low vitamin D count and you've had it tested by a doctor, then you can take a higher amount of vitamin D in a supplement form for a short period of time. So up to 5,000 or even 10,000 IU a day, short term. So for a week maybe, but vitamin D from a natural source, vitamin D from the sun, you can have as much as you like, okay, because the body has an excellent way of self-regulating, okay? But if you're taking a supplement, you don't want to take too much vitamin D because it can become toxic because it gets stored in the fat, all right? But 1,000 IU a day of a vitamin D supplement is safe, and also it's been shown in studies that anyone with low vitamin D, like under the 15 nanomole level, can actually increase their ability to fight infection by up to 50 to 70% than if they just kept the level of vitamin D low. All right. So any foods rich in vitamin D. So fatty foods, all right. So your fatty fish and stuff like that, rich in vitamin D. Mushrooms, rich in vitamin D. Okay. So they're your best options. But ideally, sun is the best. You can't really rely on foods these days to get, particularly if you've got a low level, it's going to take you a while to build your bank back up from just eating foods that have vitamin D. So you really want that sun exposure. If you don't have the sun exposure, you do want to take a supplement, okay? Let's scroll back here, see what else there was. Magnesium stearate or aspartate, they're both shit, William. If you're going to go magnesium, it needs to be glycinate. I'm not a fan of supplemental magnesium either, okay? Again, it's a mononutrient, like pumping mononutrients in your body, trying to make up for deficiency is not efficacious, okay? You normally have to take a lot of it to get it through the digestive tract into the system, okay? So if you want magnesium, the absolute best way is to soak in an Epsom salt bath, so magnesium sulfate, so you get magnesium and sulfur, okay? Or you use topical sprays or lotions, which are magnesium, okay? So they go straight into the localized areas and get absorbed straight into the body. If you're taking a magnesium supplement, you're probably only going to absorb 25% of what's written on the label of that supplement. And if it's stearate or aspartate, I don't even think that's the correct distinction, but if it's not a good quality. So glycinate is the best quality, but ideally you want to soak in a bath of magnesium sulfate or even magnesium chloride, so that's magnesium and chloride. All right, so you can get sulfate in the form of Epsom salt, you can get chloride in the form of flakes. All right, and the absolute other best way is in the ocean. Okay, so magnesium is very abundant in the ocean. The ocean has the same electrolyte composition that we have in terms of percentages: sodium, chloride, magnesium, and manganese, like etc., etc. Okay, so it's the ocean's my favourite. If you can't get in the ocean, get into a bath with Epsom salts or magnesium chloride flakes. Okay. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to actually, it's too hard to scroll on the phone. I'm going to look on my computer for questions. All right. All right, so whilst I'm waiting for some questions, I'm going to jump to some numbers. Just, I mean, surely by now everybody realises this is, it's quite serious, to say the least. You know, I mean, I'm not smiling because it's funny. I'm smiling because it's almost unfathomable the situation that we're in, but we're in it. All right. So I'm going to flip this around and show you some numbers because I want to sort of demonstrate, you know, how seriously everyone needs to take this. You know, I mean, there's still people at this stage that are like, nah, it's not that bad. It's just a flu. And they're just having a very, very slow adjustment reaction. They're failing to accept what's going on, and so they're still clinging on to their belief that it's no more serious than a flu. Flus don't shut down hospitals. Flus don't have 900 and something deaths a day like Italy's just had. All right, so this is it needs to be taken seriously. I'm going to flip this around and show you some numbers. All right. Okay, so here we go. We've just passed 595,000 cases. 27,000 deaths worldwide. Not good. All the red dots are obviously, you know, where it is. The red dots are not exactly telling the true story because obviously over here we've got 131,000 recovered, and the red dots don't show that. But the red dots show you this is spreading and it's spreading fast. All right. If you don't realise that by now, then yeah, you've really got some issues adjusting to what's going on. Okay. Now over here, as you can see, poor old USA has taken the #1 spot. Which, if anybody didn't see that coming, you've had your blinkers on because everybody with half a brain knew that was coming. Okay, and yes, it's going to get worse. You know, I'm sad to say. I mean, the US has got 5 times the population of Italy. Okay, and they will, reach the same infection level as Italy, which is currently like 124 people per million population. So multiply that by 300 million people in the USA and you've got over 2 million cases. Okay, so I'm not saying they've got 2 million now, I'm saying they will have 2 million in the next 4, 6, 8 weeks. So it's not good. And if the death rate in the US stays as the same death rate in Italy, which is around 6%, you're looking at 144,000 dead people in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and that's in the US alone. All right, so I'm not trying to scare you, this is mathematics. All right, so anyway, let's go back here. All right, so this is the current cases worldwide by the numbers. Okay, so here we go. Sorry, try and keep this a bit stabler. All right, cool. Right, so let's have a look at the USA. I'm not going to show you all of this. I just want to demonstrate quickly the growth. Okay, so yes, 1 second. Bear with me a second. Oh, here we go, cases. All right, so you see that, I mean, you can see the spike, obviously. So it's going up, 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 up. Sorry about the blurry. It's going up, 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 up. And it's climbing what they call exponentially, all right? So it's doubling, every few days, all right? So what we got here? All right. Hang on a sec. All right, so 23rd of March, 43,000. And 26, 85,000. So it's doubled in 3 days, all right? And it's going to do that again, all right? So that's what's going on in the US. It's doubling in 3 days. Australia is pretty much the same, all right? So let's go back here. Let me see if I can find Australia. Okay, here we go. Australia, boom. Go to the graphs. All right. Okay, so here we go, Australia. Sorry about the blurriness. So on the 23rd, 1,800. 26, 3,050. So it's just over 3-day doubling time. Okay. This is the same for pretty much every country around the world. I'm going to turn this back now. All right. Oh, that's a bit wobbly. Hang on. Okay, cool. So the doubling time you're seeing here, 3 days USA, 3.5 days Australia, it's the same in all of the countries that are heavily infected. So France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Australia, USA, and other European countries, Switzerland or Sweden, I think, they're all struggling pretty much the same. So it's looking like it's doubling every 3 to 3.5 days. Okay, so that's exponential growth. It's literally multiplying, clearly. Okay, there is no way to slow that down now, other than what's going on in terms of lockdowns and social distancing, social isolation, staying the fuck home. Okay, and it will slow it, but These cases that you're seeing now are from seeing recorded now are from 2 weeks ago. They were infected probably 2 weeks ago, and they're just showing up now 2 weeks later. Okay, so that's still going to spike over the next 2 weeks before it slows down. Okay, because these people are yet to be introduced into the system and calculated. Okay, so everybody's staying home now, and if you're watching the numbers and the graphs and the numbers are still going up and you're thinking it's not working, you've got to wait 2 weeks. Okay, because in 2 weeks, that's when the numbers will start to, the number of new cases will start to decline thanks to the techniques that we've all put into place for lockdowns and isolation. Okay, so in the next 2 weeks, you should see the numbers, the number of new cases decline, all right, which is exactly what you want to slow the spread and flatten the curve. Okay, let me just go back here, look at some questions. What about food in general? Naveed, I've covered that, buddy. Like, I've covered it plenty of times, so I'm not going to cover it again, mate. Sorry about that, but please just go through my timeline. And I've done a video on the 4 worst foods. I've done a video on the 8 best foods. I've done a whole 6-part series on this from start to finish. Okay, part 3, 4, and 5 was antivirals, immune system, and reducing inflammation. All of the information was in there about what you've just asked about food in general. Every time I post online every day, I'm putting other tips about food in general. So I'm not going to answer that now, buddy. Please just go back through the timeline and have a look there. Cheers. I've heard the virus stays on metal surface for 9 days and then shoots for 5 days. What about ordering food for 5 days? Well, yeah. Look, food is generally safe. I'll get back to the virus. Food is generally safe because it's cooked, right? So just don't eat anything raw, all right? Nikolai, thank you, my brother. So yeah, so if you're ordering food from outside and it's cooked, well, it should be cooked over 70 degrees, which means any viruses that may have been somehow in the food before it was cooked will be killed and it'll be dead when it arrives to you. About the biggest risk of ordering from outside would be any contact you have with the delivery person or the packaging in which it comes. Okay, but I mean, if you're keeping up your hygiene methods, you've got nothing to worry about there, really. All right, the food itself should be safe, provided it's nice and hot. But just like I say, stay away from raw food. Stay away from. Don't buy salads from outdoors. If you're going to have salad, make your own. Buy your produce sealed and then make your own, or clean it when you get home. But yeah, regular hot food should be same. Yes, regarding the metal surfaces, yes, up to 9 days on metal. So they've recently said up to 5 days on other surfaces. Yes, shoes, I suppose. I mean, it's a surface, but you can disinfect that stuff. You can disinfect your shoes. Spray your shoes with colloidal silver. Colloidal silver spray, 50 ppm, so 50 parts per million. Spray your shoes with that when you come home, and that will kill any viruses in there. All right, and I know that for a fact. So don't say to me, "Oh, that's not proven. That's woo science." It's not fucking woo science. It's a fact. Okay, silver is one of the most pathogen annihilating substances on the planet, and colloidal silver is just sort of silver particles suspended in liquid. All right, it kills everything pathogenic. Okay, so colloidal silver. All right. As for in the home, well, yeah, you can use any store-bought chemical spray, but I wouldn't. I would use colloidal silver. I would use this apple cider vinegar as a natural, anti-pathogenic, antibacterial, antiviral. I would spray it, wipe it, and then rinse it off. Same for your food. You can soak your food, well, not soak your food, but fruits and vegetables, you can rinse them in apple cider vinegar. Not only will it get rid of any virus, but also get rid of fucking all the toxins and chemicals that are on that food from the production process. All right? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. We got any more questions? I've gone through the ones there, I think. So, you're welcome, Naveed. G'day, Mick. How are you, buddy? G'day there. So if you've just jumped on, I'm taking questions. Okay, so I've answered the questions in the timeline up to date. If you've got a specific question about health, your immune system, how you can protect yourself, defend against this, just pop your question down there in the comments now and I'll get to it. I'll keep looking at different spots in this because my camera's over here but I'm trying to look at the screen because that's where I am. It's really weird, because I've put it on its side instead of up like this. All right, so any questions, pop them down below. No? Okay, so I'll move on to another topic. All right, so basically now we have the data from Italy, Spain. Okay, so these countries we can trust. We couldn't trust China, sorry. China's data is absolute fucking bullshit. Okay, yeah. You'd have to be, no offence if you do believe those numbers out of China, because you don't know, but China's numbers are absolute bullshit, okay? They're total fucking rubbish. The numbers coming out of Italy and Spain, and soon to come out of the US and the UK and France and Germany and everywhere else. Germany not so much because they're not reporting properly, but those numbers are correct, okay? So they are giving us the proper data that we need, okay? Now, in terms of what we've learned from the countries that are providing accurate data, such as Italy and that, is that this is more dangerous than we thought. Okay, it's affecting people. It's not only old people now. It's getting people from 30 to 50. Okay, we're even getting young people getting it, and we've had some young people die. Okay, so only a few. So I'm not trying to scare people, but what I'm saying is take this seriously and don't rely on China and their bullshit about what they told us. Okay, most of the stuff we're being told in the media is all coming from Chinese data. All right, it's not coming from, I'll tell you, I'll answer that in a second, Amber. It's not coming from true data, all right? So we're now learning the truth from Italy, Spain. It's going to come out of the US soon. It's going to come out of the UK, France. Like these countries are reporting correctly. Germany's not, China's not. North Korea, they're not reporting properly. Iran, they're not even reporting. They're just burning bodies. Iran are not reporting properly. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that this is more dangerous than we initially believed. Initially, people were saying it's like a 3% death rate at the most. What we're seeing now is a higher death rate in countries where the medical system is overloaded. So if we don't flatten that curve, the medical system is going to get overloaded. And when it gets overloaded, the death rate goes up in percentages, all right? Because simply they can't save those people because they can't put them in an ICU bed and intubate them, okay? So they can't provide them with oxygen and they die, all right? So it's not good, all right? Why do you think Japan has not had huge spikes? It's very simple, Amber. They did everything right, okay? They had a lot at stake, and now the poor bastards are going to lose the Olympics, even though they did everything right because the rest of the world's scared. Japan's probably the safest place in the world to be right now. I'd rather be in Japan than anywhere else, okay? Japan, quite simply put, did exactly the right thing from the start, okay? They did, intensive testing. So they're testing thousands upon thousands of people. They're finding the cases, and then they're contract tracing those cases. They're finding out who that person was in contact with, how, and so on and so forth. Then they're isolating the people that are infected. They're isolating the people that were potentially infected, and they're keeping them away from everybody else. Okay. Also, they're all wearing masks and gloves and glasses. Okay. So basically, they've stopped the spread. They've isolated and quarantined people who are infected. They've prevented the infected people from infecting the rest of the population, and they flattened the curve. And I believe I'm not even sure. I think even now it's like it's level, and it's soon to drop off. Okay, so Japan did the exact right thing, which they're called non-pharmaceutical interventions, NPIs. Okay, so no drugs, no medicines, just fucking keeping people away from each other, preventing the spread. Masks, gloves, goggles. Okay. And what's that? I read they cancelled school, but still working and hanging out. Maybe they are. They've nailed this. So whatever they're doing, they've done for a reason. All right. So so anyway, touching on that, what Japan have done, and South Korea and Hong Kong, Taiwan, is what everybody should have done. Okay, which is fucking religious testing. So just testing thousands upon thousands of people, okay? Then that gives them a proper analysis of the population's infectiveness, and they also then know, where to put, how to separate infected people from non-infected people, etc., etc. So, but coming back again, we're being told, I think in the US and the UK, that masks are not necessary. They need to be reserved for the healthcare professionals, and they do, because these countries didn't have enough masks to service the need. Okay, but if you look at the Asian countries, they all wear a mask, every single one of them, all right? And what wearing a mask does is it stops the spread, okay? Because your viral particles can only leave the body, via the mouth generally, also in the feces and other fluids. But if you're catching sneezes, so coughs and sneezes spread diseases, okay? So if you're catching coughs and sneezes in a mask and then you're discarding that mask, those particles are not able to travel through the air and infect someone else, okay? So the mask doesn't stop you from getting infected, it stops you from spreading it, okay? So that's where masks are essential. And if you can get masks, wear them. If you can't, make one. Get someone to make one. Surely someone in their family's got sewing skills. All right. The best masks are N95, so they filter out 95% of particles, or N99, which filter out 99% of particles. You're probably going to have struggle to find them. So the best place I think now to look for a mask might be a cycling shop. Okay, so it's because cyclists wear anti-pollution masks. So jump on the internet and look for cycling shops and see if they've got any masks. Or online and look for cycling supplies, because you're not going to find any on Amazon, you're not going to find any on eBay. If you are, they're going to be ridiculously priced. And also the problem with the normal surgical masks is you can only use them once. So you need, if you've got a family of four, you need 4 masks a day. You're going to have a hard time finding those masks to get a hold of. But if you can get masks, wear them and use them, all right? Because they are literally life-saving for other people, and if you slow the spread in society, you're going to slow the risk of infection for everybody, okay? Brunella, is it good to drink alcohol? Oh, well, see, it's always good to drink alcohol, Brunella, all right? Because particularly now, because we're being isolated and locked down, and we're not allowed to socialise with people. Stress levels are going to rise, and everybody knows a little bit of grape juice in the form of wine is great for temporary reduction in stress levels, okay? So, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, all of the doctors and that now will be saying, don't drink alcohol because it's, well, at the end of the day, alcohol is a poison. It's not. There's nothing other than that, it's a poison and it's a depressant, all right? So if you drink too much alcohol, you become depressed, even though it gives you a temporary, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, moderate consumption of alcohol for fun, and just a little bit of relaxation and stress relaxing is going to be fine. If you're a chronic alcoholic and you're drinking to drown your sorrows and cope with this crisis, well, you're going to be making matters worse for yourself. All right. Naveed, what about black seed oil? Some folks are taking CBD. Yes, absolutely. So black seed oil is a known antipathogenic, it's very good stuff, particularly good in many cases. So anti-inflammatory, antipathogenic, kills cancer cells. All right, so black seed oil is great if you've got it and you can get it, use it. All right. CBD is fantastic too, but CBD is it's an anti-inflammatory. It's probably one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories on the planet, CBD, because the human body has cannabidiol receptors, so CBD receptors all throughout the body. So we use it the way Mother Nature intended. It's the most medicinal plant on the planet, okay? So that's why they made it illegal. Go figure, all right? Back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, cannabis was in all medications, so it's bloody good stuff. I haven't spoken about CBD much at all because it's not available everywhere. So there's no point in telling people CBD is great and they can't get it. All right. So depending on where you live and your access to CBD, yes, use it. It depends on if you can get it. CBD from cannabis is better than CBD from hemp, in my opinion. Okay, I don't have a ton of data to back that up, but I'm just telling you that the studies to date have most predominantly been done on CBD from cannabis and not CBD from hemp. All right, but there is a lot of stuff now saying the hemp is as good. I just don't believe it is, and I need to do more research into that to be sure. All right, but if you can get CBD, absolutely use it. But with your CBD, and depending on where you live, if you're in the US, just remember that you've got CBD and you've got THC. Okay, so CBD, cannabidiol, THC, tetrahydrocannabidiol. Okay, so THC gets you high. CBD is the one that's the healing property. Okay, so just make sure you know that distinction, and when you accessing this stuff, you've got the correct ratio of CBD to THC. You don't want to be getting stoned off of taking CBD for medicinal purposes. You know what I mean? THC, on the other hand, is fantastic for pain and cancer. Kills cancer stem cells. Okay, so there's differences. All right. All right. William Hudson, what was the conclusion to Brenner's to ibuprofen consumption at this time? So yeah, there's been some up in arms about ibuprofen. Look, I mean, I wouldn't take. I mean, for a start, I'm not a doctor, right? So it's not up to me to tell you what you can or can't or shouldn't do in terms of medications. Okay, but anything that treats a symptom in the human body, such as fever or inflammation, so paracetamol, Tylenol for fever, ibuprofen for inflammation, anything that alters your body's symptomatic response but doesn't treat the cause is never really going to help treat the underlying viral infection. Okay, so there are some studies and some theory right now that taking an anti-inflammatory will actually cause the immune system to overreact, and you'll have a cytokine storm, which causes excessive inflammation, and then you're basically creating more of a problem. You're doing more harm than good by taking that thing you took to reduce your inflammation in the first place. I mean, this inflammation in the lungs, which is what COVID-19 coronavirus causes, is not it's not like inflammation in the elbow from an injury. You take a ibuprofen for tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, patellar tendonitis, and it's going to reduce that pain in that joint. All right, but taking ibuprofen for inflammation in the lungs is a very, very bad idea, because the inflammatory response is actually your body trying to heal itself. Okay, so if you're taking ibuprofen, and we still don't know if this is the case, if this is actually proven that it causes a cytokine storm. Okay, so at the end of the day, I mean, that decision is each person's and their doctors to make. I wouldn't take an ibuprofen. I wouldn't take a paracetamol. If I've got a fever, I've got a fever for a reason. The fever is so that the human body can slow down the replication of the virus and speed up the response of the immune system. So you want a fever, okay? It's only if the fever is 104 plus that it's dangerous and needs to be broken, okay? So if you've got a fever and night sweats, ride it out, because that's helping you heal. All right, but I would not take paracetamol. I would not take ibuprofen. I wouldn't take any over-the-counter medication at all for a viral infection. All right, that's me personally. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but if what I say makes sense to you, then think about it. Okay. At the end of the day, your human body is perfectly equipped to heal itself. All right, if you're taking paracetamol or ibuprofen or whatever, you're just slowing down your own healing. You're slowing down your body's healing ability by suppressing your symptoms, and then you're possibly causing the immune system to overreact because you tried to trick it into reducing its symptoms. Okay. All right. Any more questions, folks? If you've got some questions, pop them below, or I might wrap this up. I'm not sure how long that's been. What time is it? Oh, it's been over half an hour. I'll take one more question, if someone's got one, and then we'll wrap it up. G'day, Dan. How are you, buddy? One more question. So if someone's got a question, pop it below. No? Okay, cool. I'm going to wrap that up now. We've been over 30 minutes. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I will repost this, obviously. I will put the replay straight up so people can come back and watch it. And I might go through the questions and write the answers in the comments as well, because you don't want to sit through 40 minutes of video just to get those specific answers. All right, so on that note, thanks for watching, folks. I hope I've given you some good info there. Thanks, David. As for me, if you don't know by now what I do, I am an expert natural healing health coach. This is what I do. I help people heal from serious illness and disease naturally. I'm very good at it. All right. My clients have healed from just about everything you can imagine, including some of the most devastating and dangerous incurable diseases on the planet, like cancer, brain tumour, autoimmune disorders. You know, my clients have healed from all of these things. And I didn't say I healed them, I said they have healed, because your body's immune system is capable of healing from just about anything, provided the damage is not too severe, so too far gone. All right, so just remember that, like your internal defenses, your immune system is the thing that's going to save you from this, for a start, and also from every other disease and illness in the future. Okay, so you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to take care of your internal immune system. You need to boost it and modulate it so it doesn't overreact, it doesn't underreact. And also right here, right now, you want to include a lot of natural antiviral foods and herbs and spices and botanicals in your diet. Okay. If anybody's worried, concerned, really worried, you want my help, then just pop below interested, and I can give you some info about how I can help you boost your immune system and defend and protect against this and help yourself and your family. All right. So on that note, thanks for watching. Also, if you're not in my group, join my group. I'll pop that below. If you like the video, please share it, give it a like. And other than that, everybody stay safe. All right? Stay isolated, stay the fuck home. Okay? If you've got a mask, wear it everywhere you go. All right? Do not be complacent. Do not think it's not going to happen to you. Do not think it's not going to happen in your town, because it's happening in every town in every country in the world who thought it wasn't going to happen to them. Okay? So just assume it's everywhere. Assume it's everywhere. We can beat it, so don't be overly scared. We can beat it. But just assume it's everywhere and be prepared. And if you're prepared, you've got less chance of infection. All right? And if you're prepared and you do get infected, you're going to recover quicker and faster because you're confident that you can do so and because you're going to have a strong immune system. All right? So on that note, take care, be prepared, stay the fuck home. Thanks, folks.